Hi everyone, it's Saoirse. This video has been a long time coming. I'm really excited that you're about to watch it. My mom doesn't know that I'm filming this intro, but in this video I'm going to talk with her about her favorite childhood books. And this is really special for me because my mom is my best friend, and she is the one who inspired a love of reading in me. And she's also a writer, and we've done writing workshops together. We read like the same books at the same time. We always travel and seek out bookstores together, and I just want to celebrate her for Mother's Day. And I know how lucky I am, and how special it is that we have the bond that we do. I know that it is pretty rare what we have. She also reads everything that I write. Every time I have a new story or even a full book, my mom is there as my first reader, cheering me on. You know, she helped me move to Scotland to go to grad school for writing. She is just my #1 fan, and I love her so much. So, before I get too emotional, I just wanted to say that I love you, Mommy, and thank you for making this video with me. I hope you all enjoy it. Hello everyone, it's Saoirse, and today I have something special for you. This is my mom, Jenny, and I thought it would be really cool for Mother's Day to talk about her favorite childhood books, because she's really a childhood book connoisseur. She loves children's literature. She even writes children's literature. So why don't we dive right in, and I'm going to awkwardly try to be an interviewer and ask her questions about her reading history as a kid and into adolescence. So, Mother,
Yes.
you want to tell us about your memories before you could read? What are your pre-reading memories? We got notes, we got things to show you.
Well, it's kind of difficult because cliche, I don't remember not knowing how to read. I believe I was, before I started kindergarten. So before I was 5, I was somewhat reading. But I definitely remember trips to the St. Petersburg Public Library.
The big giant one.
The big giant one that's being redone. And my mom would take me, Grammy, would take me, and they had this, it's a really cool mid-century design, and it's fountain in the entryway, children's section still off to the right, and lots of stuffed animals and tables with puzzles, and just very, to me, magical place. I love it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't remember, if there was like a limit on books. I just remember when I went back with you when you were little, some of the books popped out at me, and I'm like, oh, I remember, being read this.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I remember the pictures, because that's how it works. I guess we could start with one of those.
Pictures are like kind of like smell memories.
Exactly.
Like it's such a strong recollection when you smell something. I mean, you see some of these illustrations just like do something to my brain. So let's get into some of these.
Flicka, Ricka, and Dicka. I think it's Swedish. I'm pretty sure. Madge Lindman. Anyway, honestly, I don't remember a lot about them except, of course, the colorful illustrations. And I'm assuming they're triplets because they're all the same size. And they were always doing mischievous things. But they were good little girls. I remember one where they saved their money to buy their mother some red slippers. And got very dirty in the process. They're always just all over the place, yes. So, yeah, basically it's the pictures. And I just like the names. Flicka, Ricka, and Dicka.
Very good. Very good rhymes there.
But the one that really got me, the memories that really sparked me, was Lois Linsky, which, let's see, I think they're actually quite old. They're from the, what is it, the 40s? So, I mean, these books were not new when I was reading them, or being read to, because that would have been the 60s.
You see, literature's never too old for a new audience.
I mean, very simple stories, but the line drawings and the faces, they just sparked such memories of, like, Cowboy Small.
Yeah, these look very familiar.
Giddy up, cactus. Cowboy Small rides again.
Easy reading.
Yes. And since then, like, for the example, this one I bought somewhere. Oh, it says withdrawn.
Nope.
No, that means it isn't in the stacks anymore.
Oh.
So they were selling it or something. Anyway, now we go back to some books that my mom had on the shelf at home. And I mean, these things are, feel it.
You want to show it,
It's
you gotta...
cloth. It's kind of some
Yeah,
sort of cloth.
It's hard to explain. It feels
Millie
very
Molly
soft.
Mandy. And they
Who is this from?
are from, I'll tell you, they're from the 30s. Oh my goodness. Now, my mom was born in 1932. So
it says
even
Christmas 1936.
There you go.
Oh, actually, it says first published 1928.
Ah, all right. So my mom was like 4, I guess, when my grandmother got her this. Looks like a Jewish star, but I don't think she was Jewish. Anyway, Millie Molly Mandy, once again, the very simple drawings. Let me show that. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, so there weren't that many. Well, no, sometimes they had the bigger pictures. Yes, I like those. And Billy Blunt was her little boyfriend. Things like Millie Molly Mandy gives a party, and she goes to a fete.
Well,
party.
They say fete.
Yes. And there's the teacher writing on the blackboard. Anyway, very old, but it didn't seem out of date to me. Now, of course, we get into the timeless ones. This is a very raggedy copy of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh.
This one is...
I like that.
Let's see. Oh, somebody else. It belonged to somebody else. It was a Christmas present in 1943.
Oh.
But the
That's
books...
so special. Always write in your books.
Yes. The first edition was 26. Okay, 1926. Then my sister wrote her name in it. Lee. But of course, everyone is familiar with Winnie the Pooh. Yes, and somebody colored in it. It was not me, I swear.
Yeah, it's pretty bad coloring job.
That's bad. But yes, there's this one story called We Say Goodbye. It's the last story. And they're giving Pooh presents for some reason. And he says, open it, Pooh. What is it? I know what it is. No, you don't. And other helpful remarks of this sort. Okay, when Pooh saw what it was, he nearly fell down. He was so pleased. It was a special pencil case. There were pencils in it marked B for bear, and pencils marked HB for helping bear, and pencils marked BB for brave bear. There was a knife for sharpening the pencils, an India rubber for rubbing out anything which you had spelt wrong, and a ruler for ruling lines for the words to walk on, and inches marked on the ruler in case you wanted to know how many inches anything was, and blue pencils and red pencils and green pencils for saying special things in blue, red, and green. And all these lovely things were in little pockets of their own in a special case, which shut with a click when you clicked it. And they were all for Pooh. I don't know why, but that
I can actually see why that really sticks with you.
Resonates.
Like, just hearing that gets me really excited. I got my love for school supplies from her.
Oh,
She loves it even more than me. But I could just see like a device like that is just holding all your little... I love compartments and little special...
I used to go shopping before school to get the colored notebook paper. And in our day, they weren't... I think they were Trapper Keepers. Anyway, they just loved it. This
Good
one,
stuff.
Back on the shelf, very, very ancient and raggedy. The Better Homes and Gardens storybook, which I think it was basically from, it said 1950. But I mean, some of the stuff's very old, like classic things. But the things I remember the most, and of course I shared them with my daughters. Oh, the Nonsense ABC. I even had a separate book like this. Do you remember this?
Yeah, where's the cake one?
Oh.
Is this...
C.
Yeah.
C was once a little cake. Cakey,
Cakey,
bakey,
bakey,
makey, cakey, takey, cakey, little cake. I mean, who doesn't love
the
that?
rhyme scheme in this book
By
is top
Edward
tier.
Lear. And, let's see, what did they do for, quail. Q was once a little quail. Quaily, faily, daily, squaly, stumpy, taily, little quail.
Look at the quail.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta see this. That's perfect.
And my absolute favorite, because it's like, what in the world do you do for X? X was once great King Xerxes. Xerxes, Perksy, Turksy, Lurksy, Linksy, Lurksy, great King Xerxes. Anyway, so that was a special memory. They did have The Tale of Peter Rabbit, which I really liked Peter Rabbit more for the illustrations, to be honest. Beatrix Potter, remember we went to see her home in England? Love her illustrations. Mrs. Tiggy Winkle and Pigwig, and I don't know.
Pigwig.
Now this is like the favorite. It's a song,
Over in the meadow.
which I have no idea what the tune is, but I made up my own.
meadow in the
Sand in the sun
Oh,
lived
you
an
just made
old
that up?
mother turtle and her little turtle one. Dig, said the mother, we dig, said the one. So they dug all day in the sand in the sun.
The best part is the beavers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Over in the meadow by the old barn door lived an old mother rat and her little ratties
Those are
four.
rats.
Oh, sorry.
They look like beavers.
Oh, the basque. That's good. Oh, here.
There.
Over in the meadow in a cozy weed den lived an old mother beaver and her little beavers 10. Beeve,
Beeve.
said the mother, we beeve,
Beeve.
said the 10. So they beeved all day.
In the cozy wee den. So great.
Yeah, I just made up my own. But those are the main. They had some longer things in here, but I remember those especially. And I always loved, what do they call these? Rebus? Where they've got pictures
Oh, yeah.
interspersed with the...
That's fun.
Yeah, because when you're first starting to read, you can... There was a little red hen who lived in a little house. So I always enjoyed those. But yes, lots of memories, and of course I love sharing them with my daughters, and then my granddaughter too. So timeless,
Yeah,
timeless.
my niece is 13 now.
And then still in the thing of pre-reading was the Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Ann, Raggedy Ann.
And this is a raggedy issue. It's kind of worn out. But my mom, let's see, was this hers? Or
It's
did I
old.
get this somewhere? Yes.
Oh, wow.
It says Jennifer Johnson.
Christmas 1909. Oh,
No.
sorry, 1939. Whew. Not
She
bad.
would have been 7 then. And then, of course, my sister, 64. So she was already 9. Anyway, honestly, I'm not that thrilled with the actual story. They kind of creep me out when you think about it. I don't know, some of the pictures.
It's a little off-putting.
But I did like, they're cute. And the little creature, does anyone remember what he was called? The Fuzzy Wump.
Yeah, fuzzy mom.
And somewhere up there, oh, you can't see him. Yeah.
I didn't mention we're in the nostalgia room. This is all memorabilia, mostly like from the 60s and 70s, and some even into my childhood in the 90s and the early aughts.
And then there was another one on the shelf, which is my book house. Okay, this appears to be, I think I wrote that it was, from originally the 20s. Mostly rhymes.
See? The 20s.
You know, with Peter Piper. It's nursery rhymes, which I'm appalled that today's generation does not seem to be familiar with many. I don't know if parents just think they're boring or kids
No,
don't like them.
parents already don't know them.
They don't know
Parents
them.
are older
Oh.
or younger.
For example, I remember doing this to my granddaughter. 2 blackbirds sitting on a hill, one named Jack, one named Jill. Fly away, Jack, fly away, Jill. Come back, come again, Jack, come again, Jill. I mean, pretty simple stuff. But, I don't know, it's mostly nursery rhymes. So I think I know some of them are controversial.
Bring back nursery.
But, you
Bring
know,
back
like
good nursery rhymes.
What's the one where she beats the children and sends
Oh.
them to bed?
Yeah. See, things were different back then, kids, and that's
right.
why we don't talk about these things sometimes.
Now I'm getting into my own books again, and I really remember this, obviously, because my little neighbor gave it to me. It says, "Happy birthday, Jenny, June 18th, 1965. Barry Layfield, if you're out there. In Pasadena, Gulf Coast State, St. Pete, or whatever. I was 4, so I don't think I was reading yet. So my mom must have read it to me. It's obviously adapted from the original classic Heidi. But I do remember loving the story, and, you know, there's been tons of versions and movies and so on. But there was just something about all the stuff she had to go through. But I loved that, you know, it was a happy ending. Oh, there she is with grandfather.
Grandpa.
Yes, anyway. And then finally,
I like this one.
this
one's
one
dynamic.
is Whisper in My Ear, which is falling apart. Whoops. Literally falling apart.
Yeah.
It's by Richard Scarry, and I did not realize when I dug through my nostalgia stuff, I'd already been reading my children Richard Scarry books. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was a Richard Scarry book. And it was a counting book. It counts things.
3.
4 clocks and 8 brooms.
Pretty hats.
And it's just obviously it has some memory because I mean, look at it; it's so sturdy.
Well,
it doesn't say the year, does it? I think it. Yes, it does. It was 1964, year of the Beatles. So I was having Whisper in My Ear read to me.
Nice.
Okay.
So, now we've done pre-reading memories. That's early stuff. What about early reading memories of when you were really actually reading and not pretending like I used to do? And I would hold books. She would tell me to read, like go have my reading time, and I couldn't read yet, so I would just I would pretend I was reading in my head, which is a really advanced thing to do. And I wasn't reading in my head; I was just staring at the book.
Sneaky snake.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you can tell how old I am. Fun with Dick and Jane.
Oh, wow.
I really did learn to read in school with these dreadful books. Actually, they aren't dreadful. I mean, they're just so classic. Mother and Sally. I mean, of course, she's vacuuming. What else would she be doing?
Yeah, that's her life, her world.
And she's wearing, she's wearing sensible low-heeled shoes. No pearls.
She's not in the kitchen.
But I did love Puff.
Who's Puff?
Puff is the cat.
Oh, Puff is the cat. You barely see him there.
Now, wait a minute. What was the dog? Spot, of course. Duh.
It's imaginative.
So it's Sally and Dick and Jane. Dick and Jane, Sally, Spot, Puff, Mother and Father. We don't know their names because that doesn't matter. Mother's being naughty. She's sitting and resting.
Oh, get up.
Reading a magazine.
Make a sandwich.
But I mean, let's face it. Oh my goodness. I didn't know there was an African-American family in there, but there is. Penny, let's see, it's Penny and who's Pam? Oh, Tim. No, Tim's the bear. Anyway, I mean, listen to these. Penny said, I can play ball. I can get the ball. You cannot, said Mike. Go away, Penny. Go away. Typical brother.
This is like my level of French reading.
No, there they are riding their bike. Oh, Mother's in the wagon. Isn't that silly?
Ridiculous.
Anyway, I was forced to read those, but I don't know the name of it, but I made a note. It must have been about 1967, time machine, because I think it was second grade, or 68. There was this series of cards, like this box, and they were like reading cards, and they were color-coded, and you could read at your own pace. Oh, joy.
Can you normally not read at your own pace?
Well, the whole class has to read Dick and Jane. And so I remember going and reading them, and then there'd be a little quiz, and then you'd move to the next one. So if anyone remembers those things, I love them. All right, this is a bizarre little book, which you are familiar with, because I've showed it to you. Angry Kate.
Very upsetting.
1963. One of the strangest little books ever. About a little girl who just does not fit in with the family. They go to the zoo, and she'd much rather be with the animals. And she gets very angry. I mean, she's bright red from having a tantrum.
She's just like severe anger management issues.
She puts peanuts in Mother's purse. I mean, very juvenile delinquent. But they just don't know what to do with her. Finally, they say, I think she'd like to live in the zoo.
Yeah, she's happy there. That's where she belongs.
So, just your average childhood story.
Instead of camel, it said Kate.
A little girl once thought irate, but now quite tame and moderate. A friendly child who wants to please. No eggs, no peanuts. Do not tease.
That's me.
I mean, the fact that I kept it for, we're talking over 50 years.
It's pretty good condition.
In all my moves. I know it must mean something. Oh, I do have my name in the front.
Yeah, some things stick with you.
Yeah. I mean, I did get rid of a lot of things, but now these next couple I remember specifically from the book fair. Who remembers those?
Oh yeah.
And
Scholastic Book Fair.
Yes, and this was the Marsh Crone's Brew. It says 69 cents. It was marked down from $1.50.
Nice.
It's by Ibspang Olsen, and it's very strange. I mean, I love these little girls who sprout out of the ground. I'm sure I read it to you.
Oh yeah, weird
they're really like trolls. Well, they call her a crone, but and the birds land in their head. Anyway, it's kind of strange, but This one I remember because it was one of the, easy to read books, obviously, but a little more sophisticated than Dick and Jane, just because of the illustrations. I mean, it's still simple. Oh, something big is here. Big, big, big. Can it jump? It cannot jump. It can go down, down, down. Oh, it's a giant turtle.
It's a huge sea turtle.
Ooh, here's something funny. Help, go away, go away. You make me want to run. Lobster.
Terrifying narrative.
Wow. A little yellow boat. Okay. Now, I've included this only because...
Jungle Book?
Yes, this is not an original, obviously. I mean, we all know the original. It's ancient.
Books.
But this is a Disney version of it. But I had to include it because it is by far the first Disney movie I recall going to. And also my favorite. And it was probably right around... I thought I wrote it down. See a year there? No. The movie was like 68 or something. Anyway, I have the record album somewhere. Can't see it. Anyway, they didn't have a lot of merchandise back then. Not like today.
Now
if they
it's
did,
Merch City.
I would have had a room full of Mowgli, Shere Khan, Baloo, Bagheera, the whole bit. Anyway, love that one. And finally, another book club one that just, I don't know, the pictures, especially Tim Mouse. Look at these gorgeous pictures. Wait, let me find it. There. There. Timothy, I thought it was Timothy Mouse, but Tim Mouse and his friends. And there's a hedgehog in it, and there's, the cat's chasing them. Anyway, I just remember, I can't believe I saved the paper cover. In that last picture, look how they're all curled up.
God, it's falling apart.
They're all curled up. Just love that picture.
Wait, where? Where are they curled up?
Right he's in bed, and he's in the chair.
Oh, they're all two of them?
Yeah. His friend, the hedgehog.
Oh.
And that was 66, so, yeah. Anyway, that's it for the early reading.
Yeah, we move on to middle grade. We'll remember, I did Battle of the Books.
Ooh,
and
man, I wish they had that when I was young.
Yeah, I was captain of the Battle of the Books team quite a lot. We had to read like 15 books during the summer and then take a test on them, and then you could do sort of like, it was like a game show quiz style book thing. So these would be kind of around that age. So for you, it would have been what books
Well,
were you reading around?
Yeah.
Like end of elementary.
Yeah, we didn't have those wonderful, what do they call them, Sunshine State Readers? I don't recall that we had those. On my own, I'm sure me and millions of other, mostly girls, got into Nancy Drew. Don't remember how. I do remember reading them the summer I was at my grandparents', so I would have been 10. So between like 9 and 11. And I mean, there's got to be 40 or 50 of them. I can't say I've read every single one, but virtually every single one. And I have several, and I've bought a few over the years. This was the very first one, The Secret of the Old Clock, where we get introduced to Nancy, her father, I think it's Carson, her friends, Bess and George, who's a girl, and her boyfriend, Ned Nickerson.
Ned.
Later on, they changed the illustrations, and she became more of a, they said, is it Titian to redhead? Oh, here she's blonde. But anyway, there's really there's no illustrations except cover, and then there might be a couple of black and white. It wasn't about illustrations at this point. It was,
now
you
we're
were reading.
Into words.
Yes. I mean, Nancy Drew, an attractive girl of 18, was driving home along a country road in her new dark blue convertible. She had just delivered some legal papers for her father. It was sweet of Dad to give me this car for my birthday, she thought. And it's fun to help him in his work.
Oh, the writing.
Yeah.
You have to specify that she's attractive at the very beginning, otherwise I do not want to read it.
Yes. And, she was very brave and clever, which I liked. And I remember in 5th grade arguing with some boys about the Hardy Boys. No, is it the Hardy Boys?
Boys.
The Hardy Boys are better. And I'm like, of course I never read one. But, and they thumbed their noses at Nancy Drew, but we all know she was superior. So that was that. And the other series I got into is the Little House books. This, I think, was my first, and it wasn't the first book, so it was out of order. but it still remains my favorite, I think, probably because of that. And On the Banks of Plum Creek, Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I love the illustrations by Garth Williams. And of course, I've read these to you.
Yeah, there were many nights of reading these books together.
Yeah, I love their house made of the grass roof.
Oh, like The Hobbit.
Yes, it is. And there were so many, and I've read some about the actual author, and I need to finish that book. It's all about her. It's mostly real. There's a little bit of fiction thrown in here and there. There's some argue
She
about.
spiced it up a little.
Yes. And I don't know. It just, and of course, got made into the famous TV show, which I adored. Half Pint, and the very attractive Charles Ingalls.
Is that the father?
Yes.
Whew, Daddy.
He was.
Yeah. The original Daddy.
Anyway, but I adored those, read them all.
Now what?
Good grief, Charlie Brown. Good grief. Of course, he was a comic strip, but they made a ton of these little books. And the characters look a little different. I don't know if you can see the faces. Like, Charlie Brown looks a little angrier than he did on the TV show.
Oh, that's okay. He's bolding early.
Yes. But, and look how different Snoopy looks. That doesn't look how they made him look in the TV shows.
Yeah, Snoopy has more of a big old snoot now.
But I enjoyed these. I think my brother had these books too. Maybe they were his and I read them. But Pig Pen, and of course I always hated how mean Lucy was to him. But just another piece of childhood. Now, one of my all-time favorites, I'm sure many of you can identify, Charlotte's Web, E.B. White. This particular edition is from '69, so it tells me I was probably reading it in like 3rd grade. I don't know. It got made into movies and so on. I love the pictures. Oh, wait a minute. Garth Williams. Yes. Oh my God. Did I not know that?
What?
The same illustrator as
Little House?
Yes.
He did the same?
For those later editions,
That's
of course.
cool.
Yes. No wonder I like them.
How special.
And, I mean, look at...
Ooh. Oh, that picture.
Do you remember the big fat pig he was competing against? I think his name was Uncle.
Zuckerman's Famous Pig?
Well, he's Zuckerman. They gave him a buttermilk bath.
He's a big pig.
And then, of course, Templeton. I love Templeton.
Yeah, I always think about him when I eat corn.
The egg sack.
No.
My all-time favorite, one of my favorite lines from any book, I have a few, is the last line. I'll just read the last paragraph. Wilbur never forgot Charlotte. Although he loved her children and grandchildren dearly, none of the new spiders ever quite took her place in his heart. She was in a class by herself. It is not often that someone comes along who is a true friend and a good writer. Charlotte was both.
I'm gonna cry at goosebumps.
Being a writer, I especially like
Yeah,
that.
you can tell that's like a writer put that line in there, you know.
So that is, I think it's just a wonderful book for many reasons. This one, I'm embarrassed to say, I don't remember the plot at all. But there's something about the fact that I have this hardback. Ooh, expensive. And maybe it was from the book fair, I'm not sure. But 1965 is this edition. And I just remember some of the, there aren't that many pictures. Once again, we're getting into more just occasional illustrations. Oh, of course, now I can't find it there. I just adored that picture. I remember staring at it.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I would stare at.
No, I need to get back and read it, see if it's really that good. I'll have to do that another shot. This one I remember well, reading it. Got it at the book fair, $5.95. Very expensive for back in, gosh, what year did I get it? 1971.
And this is from 1911. That's when it was originally
Yes.
published, which excites me because I read so much Victorian and Edwardian literature.
And I
She's
usually
always like,
turn up my nose at
but
anything
it's
before
like, hey.
the 50s. But love the illustrations. These are by Tasha Tudor. Of course, she's a wonderful illustrator. And I just adored the story. And you will see. Anyway, this is just. There's a thing about orphans that fascinated me because this next
a
book.
lot of orphan stories back
It's my absolute favorite of all time. This is not the edition I read. I had a paperback. I still am searching for that version. What's it called? Mandy by Julie Andrews, or Julie Edwards. She goes by here, because that was her married name.
She's so cool.
And she wrote it. This is the best part because she wrote it for her daughter, whose name is Jenny. How perfect is that? It doesn't say this here. I know that somewhere it said that it was some sort of promise or bet that she wrote this book. I don't know where it is. But anyway, no, here it is. No, it was a forfeit she had to pay for a bad habit to 11-year-old Jenny Edwards. The forfeit was to write the story. Okay. I don't know what the bad habit was. But anyway, adored the story. I have read it again as an adult, and obviously it's not an adult book, but it holds up. And I wish they would make a movie out of that. I don't know why they haven't.
Maybe somebody's done an independent film.
Now, these next two are really more about illustrations. Joan Walsh England.
Oh, yeah, these are classic.
I have a poster that I have from like 1970 of her, a little girl. It says, "Peace. Love is a special way of feeling." I mean, these are very simple. It says, like, "Love comes quietly, but you know when it's there, because suddenly you are not alone anymore, and there is no sadness inside you."
If only that were true.
Yeah. And she never gives her people mouths or noses.
Yeah, who needs mouths?
It's just their little beady eyes. But I've found these over the years. This was somebody gave this to somebody on Mother's Day. "With all our love to the very best mama, Lee and Larry and Daddy. Mother's Day, 1964. Oh my goodness.
Cat in the closet knocking things down.
Cat in the closet. But I bought it at a antique show. And the other one, which some people might dispute even saying, is she an author? It's really illustrator, Betsy Clark. I had so many things. I had puzzles. I read books. Just the illustrations. Once again, let me find one in here. The way she did her people. This says, "Hearts like doors will open with ease to very, very little keys. And don't forget that 2 of these are thank you and if you please." Just very sweet.
Very soft.
Yes. And I think, oh no, one more thing from those early days. This was mine. The Illustrated Golden Dictionary for Young Readers. And it's got, like, sometimes it'll go into a lot of, like, illustrations. There's reptiles. But there's a lot of pictures in it. And I just remember playing school with this. I don't know what it was about this. I just loved it. And what do they call? Here's another word for that. Oh, well. Mink.
There's a mink.
Not illustrated. Oh, look at this. Even clothes. It's kind of like an encyclopedia in some ways. Oh, which we should mention. Oh, my God. The World Book Encyclopedias. I've got them.
The original.
In the garage. They're from, I think, 1969, and the reason I remember that, 68, 69, there was a special one for that year. That was the edition we had, and they were in my sister's room on the bookshelves, and I used them for many a school report before the internet.
Those days.
I loved them. Still do. Oh, okay, so now...
So we go on to preteen years.
And beyond.
And beyond.
And there's kind of a big gap here. And I know I was reading a lot, but I don't think I saved as many because I think a lot of them were paperbacks and they weren't as obviously illustrated.
So it's like all the way through high school?
Yeah. And I mean, like I say, don't forget, when I moved some years ago, I used to have, you remember, the long bookshelves.
Where?
At our house. With the long bookshelves? Oh, come on.
Or my first house?
Yes, upstairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, a lot of them were your father's science fiction books, but I had a ton of books, and I'm not as attached like as you are. I am to certain ones, like those from my childhood, and occasionally I will buy a hardback book if it's about a celebrity like Roger Daltrey, my hero from The Who. But usually I would just buy these, read them, and get rid of them.
See, but this is the library queen.
Yes.
I don't ever, as you can tell, get books from the library. I buy them always. But it looks like you owned a lot when you were younger, and as you got older, you started just using the library.
Right. Partly money, and partly I just read so much. Anyway.
You didn't have your pocket money anymore.
But this one is very timely now because
Oh, yeah.
they just made a movie out of it. Judy Blume's classic, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And the thing I remember most about this, it was, well, of course, the story, but it was, I was reading it at my school, Canterbury, and I remember the boys, I think it was 6th grade, 7th grade, they were all like all the girls had a copy and they were all coming around trying to grab it from us like there was something naughty in it. And I didn't, in the book, of course, she has this religious confusion. I didn't go through that. But
Like religious confusion.
and she also was like a very late developer, which I was not. But I still did identify with it. And I hope the movie does it justice because it is indeed a classic. And I almost forgot. I did forget. I was supposed to show you when I was reading the early childhood books. Yes, we actually wore things like this smock.
What is this from?
Oh my!
Oh my God!
Oh, dear.
All right, you just I'll get that.
Anyway, this was a style of top. We called it a smock.
When's that from?
Oh, it was like elementary school, like 9, 10 maybe. And
That's wow! I can't believe you have that.
and then also, now that we're in the preteen, I have my cool jersey from Canterbury, the Crusaders,
Woo!
with my name embroidered on it.
Nice.
So I was there 5th through 8th grade, so I have that.
I'm growing up.
I was a cheerleader. And then the other thing I loved at this age was,
Oh, I love this book.
oh, you remember.
Yes. Oh my God, I've read this.
New Young Ideas in Decorating.
It's so groovy.
I should show Dresden, my granddaughter. The
Oh
best
my
part
God.
of it was
Oh,
the
the pictures.
quiz at the beginning. The quiz where they ask you what kind of style, and it was so hard for me to answer. Like, for example, you can tell he's the man from your dream, for you, when his dream house is the same as yours. What is it? I think I circled a white columned mansion surrounded by green lawns, which is bizarre. I wouldn't say that today. Oh, you would say a Victorian monstrosity where you build a marvelous mod shell
What's
inside
a
of it.
mod shell?
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's so fun. I think this is where I got my like interior design like obsession.
And the thing is, I never did any of the things they suggested in this room. They gave you tips on how to, if your room was
wallpaper.
small or was it dark, dreary furniture, cozying up a huge room. I didn't have that problem. Oh, they even had a horoscope thing. My room, in case anyone wants to know, at this point, I went from pink shag to bright lime green when I was like 11. Lime green rug, yellow walls, one wall had wallpaper with flowers. The rest was plastered with posters of, as I got older, David Essex, Queen, The Who, and then of course my door was covered with stickers and things, so I didn't have much.
I wish we could show you.
Oh, French provincial furniture. Oh, anyway. But no, the decorating thing, it interested me at a young age, and then along the same line, know yourself. These were quizzes, which of course we all know those tacky ones in Cosmopolitan,
Yeah.
but these were more
The
innocent.
70s.
And I loved psychology too at a young age. What was it,
74.
Yeah, all right, so I would have been like 8th grade. Oh God, look at this. Be your own computer dating service. This is
They
funny.
had a computer dating service in the 70s?
It says, my favorite musical instrument, piano. Now, on the right side, the handwriting is, my brother. He was so desperately bored, he filled it in. My most interesting subject at school, science? I don't know why I said that. Subject I'm least interested, math. That's true. Favorite spectator sport, soccer. Characteristic I admire in someone is IQ and good humor. He said IQ and physical appearance. Duh, of course. And they had quizzes about, oh, what's wrong here? It's dialogues where you're supposed to fix them. I say, is that a new skirt? And the friend says, yes. And I say, it's nice, but don't you think you should stick to solid colors with your weight problem? All right, you're supposed to fix that. So I said, that's a nice print. Where did you get it? My sister, very interesting.
Wow. Well, at least they were trying to help you get better.
I can't even read her writing. Anyway, horoscope things, money quizzes, what would you do on a desert island? Just love that sort of thing. Now we get into more like high school. Yeah, high school. And I'm pretty sure I read this in high school for some class.
Yeah.
And man, am I glad they made us read it. Talk about a classic.
And they still make you read this today.
They should.
They do. No, they do.
It's a thin tome.
I know.
It's only 128 pages.
Yeah, it's a quick one.
And it's written in 1946. So.
And look at that.
What?
See that picture of George Orwell?
Oh.
Do you recognize that?
No.
In where we just went on our trip, we went to Southold.
Oh,
we
yeah.
spent a lot of time there in the
Oh, yeah.
summers. And there's this huge mural of him and like quotes from Animal Farm.
And she knows that, maybe you don't, another one of my favorite sentences.
Yes, I do.
Interesting that it's the end, isn't it? The last sentence. Or paragraph. 12 voices were shouting in anger, and they were all alike. No question now what had happened to the faces of the pigs. The creatures outside looked from pig to man, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again. Goosebumps. But already, it was impossible to say which was which.
Yeah.
Oh, chills.
You just bent that book.
I know.
Driving me crazy.
Anyway, just love that one. And
this one's good.
another classic, don't remember, it was high school at some
Hey,
point.
I think this is the edition that I read, maybe. It's falling apart.
Yes, I think it's mine.
Yeah.
And let me see. Yeah, my name's in it.
Yeah. Catcher in the Rye. Oh, it's got many covers.
Nah, that says 95 cents. Anyway, I don't have a favorite sentence, but where's the part where he talks about his sister Phoebe on the carousel going round and round?
It's like near the end.
Yeah, and I almost damn near broke my crazy neck.
My crazy neck. That's my favorite line.
And I mean, I don't know, doesn't it? It seems to be like some people can't stand the book.
Oh, yeah. If you've seen my Catcher in the Rye video, there are many comments on that. People disagreeing about, is it a crap book? Is it the best book ever? A lot of people hate Holden, and I personally think it's because they see themselves in him and can't handle it, or they've never experienced depression like
And I'm
he
not
does.
sure if it's, I read banned books. I think it's.
No, it's definitely been banned.
And why? He says hell and damn? I mean, it's ridiculous that it's banned. I can't even
It's
imagine.
because they think he's like an ungrateful child, and he's gonna corrupt everyone.
Well, to a much lighter note, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Massive fan.
Yeah, I love these.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I read all of them. Douglas Adams. Too bad he isn't around anymore. And they made a TV series. They made a movie.
It's a pretty subpar movie.
Yeah, yeah. But we all talk about the importance of having a towel. We all know the meaning of life is 42.
Yeah, if you don't get these references, because that's used a lot. 42, you'll hear that out and about. If you don't get that, I don't respect you. I don't like you.
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Yeah, you got to know this stuff. Read that book.
And what's the thing they wear in their ear?
The Babelfish.
Babelfish to help
Yeah.
you read other language or speak other languages. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like I say, there should be more books. Oh, let me just say, I remember taking a class in high school. I think it was called Future Studies, and we read 1984, Brave New World, and I think, even though it wasn't future, maybe I'm wrong, Lord of the Flies. So those I remember well and really loving them. I was fortunate. I did not have to read. Well, I shouldn't say that. I managed to escape having to read certain books, and I don't know why. Come on, the one that's Of Mice and Men, but what's the other one? Oh, To Kill a Mockingbird. Never read it.
You didn't read that?
Oh, they didn't
I
read
thought
this.
you loved that.
No, I like the movie.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. I had to read that in 9th grade.
And my friend Jenny had to read Silas Marner and Moby Dick, and I don't know. I think some of the classics are
She's got
overrated.
this thing in her head about classics, and
There are good
we
classics and there are
disagree.
subpar. All right. Now, I think it's important to mention periodicals.
Periodicals.
I was obsessed with magazines. Still am.
Yeah, that has not changed.
My actual major in college was magazine journalism. Who knew? And I dreamed of, but never really did it, of going to New York and being a writer for Mademoiselle, which doesn't exist anymore. But it all started with highlights. Who doesn't recognize it? That's still around, folks. Much different style. But we all read them in the doctor's and dentist's office. And they would have poems, stories, pictures, riddles.
I love when you have to find things.
The Timber Toes. I love this creative thinking. Like, can we be sure about what the weather will be a week from now? Can we be sure that we will never have an accident? Interesting. Makes you think.
Yikes.
I know. They have recipes. The absolute best, Goofus and Gallant. My brother was Goofus. I was Gallant. And let me say, I hate the way they've changed the illustrations. Today's are... I don't like the style. Yes. Goofus often talks about the boys he doesn't like. Gallant often talks about the boys he likes. Goofus tattles on his sister when she does something wrong. Gallant tries to keep his sister out of trouble. Goofus repeats ugly things he hears about a friend. Gallant repeats only the nice things he hears about a friend.
Are they related?
I don't know if it's the bad seed brother or not.
Because, like, there you go, nature versus nurture. Like, they have the same upbringing.
Maybe not.
Horrible.
And then one of my favorite things, well, they had jokes. There was something called, it's not in this. This is not one of mine. This is 72. I was not reading it in 72. I was too old for it then. But I found this I bought this at an antique thing. Anyway, I love that magazine. They had a little description. I don't know if it still says it about what it is. Something about wholesome. This book of wholesome fun is dedicated to helping children grow in basic skills and knowledge, in creativeness, in ability to think and reason, in sensitivity to others, in high ideals and worthy ways of living. For children are the world's most important people.
Oh, well.
And okay. I would love to see a kid reading this instead of on a phone, playing a game, but dream on.
I was reading Captain Underpants. I had quite a thing for Captain Underpants. So that came out of my brain just now. I forgot about that.
Well, I think they've tried to ban that too.
Well, it's fair.
Now, comics are a big part of many people's lives, and of course, my brother had some ridiculous Superman and that sort of thing. I wasn't interested.
He's not ridiculous.
With me, it was all about Archie's here, do-do-do-do. Betty's here, Veronica too.
How long is this song?
Here comes Jughead, how are you? And he even had his own. Okay, let me tell you, these say 20 cents. Wrong. I was buying them when they were 12 cents.
A dime and 2 pennies?
12 cents. Then they went to 15, then 20, then 25. I think by the time they were 25, I wasn't buying them anymore. Actually, can you read? Yeah, see, this says 72. I would have been 11. I was reading these a lot between, I'm thinking, 2nd through 5th, 6th grade. Then I was pretty much done with it. My friend Pam and I had a club. We both joined the Archie Club. Got cards. I've lost my membership card, and I'm heartbroken about it. I do have my pin up there somewhere. We wrote a letter, because they have a little section where you can write letter. Archie Club News. See, here it is. Archie Club News. And we wrote about selling lemonade at the golf course, which, of course, they wouldn't let you do that now. Oh, too dangerous.
Really?
We put an environmental spin on it. We like to call it like an ecology club. Well, the truth is we went and ate at McDonald's with the money. Okay? But I loved Archie, especially Betty and Veronica and their cool clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I could never choose between them.
Oh, and of course they had spin-offs, such as Josie and the Pussycats. And I did have a t-shirt somewhere. And there were a few others, like Richie Rich. I read his. And I do have one here. I forgot about this. The Partridge Family. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, look at this. I want you right now to join the Partridge Family fan club.
Man, I miss when you had to like write in for things.
Yes. I did not join the sea monkeys. We all wanted to order the sea monkeys.
Yeah. I got tadpoles and ants, and it was all a very tragic failure that we won't talk about.
Well, the sea monkeys were shrimp.
Were they?
Yes. They didn't have little crowns on their heads. Now this is very special because I've kept it. It's falling apart. It's called Growing Up and Liking It.
Ugh.
I know. I think they gave us this at the little girl talk we had in school. We must have had one at the little girl. I don't know if it was, I feel like it says 72. Yeah, I think it was 6th grade, which is a little, I didn't get, well, I'm talking about that. I didn't become a woman until 7th grade. But they have things like, they have like this girl asking all sorts of questions, and they even have diagrams.
Whoa,
Can we
very
show that?
graphic diagrams.
Well, it's what's happening.
I don't know if
Oh,
I'm
we
allowed
can't show
to.
that. Okay. Anyway, but it was very helpful about what's going on, and what I love is the little groovy flowers, from that time, and yeah.
That's like the care and keeping of you.
Oh
which
yeah.
is my generation.
Well, see, you can order a personal hygiene calendar and a starter kit. It was
see,
put
I
out
didn't
by
know
the
that
people
back then.
who made the products, personal products company.
Capitalism.
Mm-hmm. Now, on a more innocent note, also, the Ideals books, especially the Christmas ones, basically only the Christmas ones. This is one. We had two. I've lost the other one. I'm heartbroken. I have a memory of a picture in it of a snowy tree, and we don't have snow. I didn't grow up with snow, so it was all very magical. But they had beautiful pictures and Christmas stories and poems, and they had pictures. I mean, look at these kids. They look like the 50s. Anyway, we would have a Christmas show, my sister, brother, and I, and sometimes I'd read from this, and there's just something very memorable, nostalgic about those. Now, as I got older, I started reading teen magazine. Unfortunately, I don't have any copies. Then I graduated to 17, which I saved this.
OG
I
17
saved
magazine.
this. 1979. I was a senior in high school.
Cool.
And I love looking at the ads for shoes and makeup, and
Oh, look at the makeup. Wow, it's so different.
I
now.
can tell you subscribe to 17,
I
and
love
it's very
17.
different. The shoes. They don't, in my years, the Columbia Record and Tape Club. They didn't talk about things like bullying, or certainly not sex. I remember that ad. I mean, even the ads, I'm nostalgic. So I'm so happy I saved that, but I definitely read that for years. And the thing is, who remembers, it used to be big. It was bigger, and then like Life magazine was bigger. Then they cut the size down to save money on paper. Then I graduated to Mademoiselle, and then I don't have any copies to show you because they're down in the garage. Rolling Stone, not still around. Cream, not still around. Hit Parader, not still around. I was very into music, more than most girls, I think, my age in high school. And I read all the magazines and, just kept up with all that stuff. And then this is interesting because it's Better Homes and Gardens. This is a decorating book. I didn't have this one, but my mom had things like this around the house.
It's got my favorite thing.
The color wheel.
I
Adore
love
the color wheel.
color theory.
Yeah, I bought this at a show for $5. Not bad. It's from the 60s. And just, some of the pictures remind me of, the house I grew up in. I love this. We did not have a mid-century modern house, but that's cool. So I was very interested in decorating and architecture, which my mom had a wonderful book. I think it was Better Homes and Gardens. Did you ever? No, you never saw that. Big book with house plans. And it had like the exterior and then the house plans. I would pore over that, and then I drew my own house plans, which I've shown you are comical.
Yeah, like blueprints.
Yes, I mean, all my houses, though, had like bowling alleys. They had a little path across water. But then I found out that I had no spatial relations sense, or
Which is why I'm surprised that you
geometry.
drew those.
I don't know.
I could never draw a plan like that. The blueprint where it's from above and you're
Mine
my
were
brain
not
can't do
good, but I loved them. I still, to this day, if somebody's selling a house, show me a floor plan. That's a lot more
show me a
meaningful.
photograph.
No. Anyway. So that's that. With the periodicals. I still read a lot. Magnolia and do-it-yourself magazines. Southern Living, Better Homes and Gardens. I just love magazines. There's something about touching them. Don't tell me to read it on a computer. It's not going to happen. Oh, so now...
things that you read to my sister and I.
Yes.
We have to go through these quick.
Okay. This is funny. Big Brother.
I remember that.
This is so much.
See, this is all going to fire off little...
Charlotte Zolito wrote lots of books, and this was one. The big brother who teases the little sister. He he pretends to eat her candy and she cried.
Yeah,
He
this
pretends
one really
to crack an
affected me.
egg on her head. I mean, this was my brother all the way. But at the end, they end up drawing pictures together. But she also had one called Big Sister. She had one about being little. About, I like to be little. I like it when the ice cream man knows my name. I like it when Mom puts me to bed. I don't know, just very simple things, very wonderful drawings.
Vividly remember that and this one.
Oh,
my God.
This is the Paper Bag Princess, which I've given as a gift to people for their kids because it talks about this Elizabeth who meets this prince, and he's a total jerk. And she figures out that she ends up slaying the dragon.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a very feminist book, and I love it.
Like, look at that dragon. Yeah, the illustrations.
He puffed little puffed the size of meatballs or something.
Ooh.
Now the same author, which I didn't realize.
This one I can't even handle or talk about.
Oh, some people can't
Love
handle
You
it.
Forever. It's extremely emotional.
And I don't really love the illustrations, but the whole idea of the mother holds the new baby and sings, "I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be."
Oh, and then he gets older
And he's a teenager, and he moves, and I mean, this is kind of creepy.
But then he's an old...
The old lady's cradling him still.
Her little boy.
And then it gets
But
worse.
then she gets too old and he's holding her.
Right, he's holding her. But then he becomes a father
then he
himself.
has this, which you don't have to do. But
and he starts it all over.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my God.
I can't.
Just a classic. If I could write a book like that. Now, I had a lot of... Oh, this was a Caldecott Honor book. Okay, when I was looking at books for you guys, I often did look for ones that were given awards. And,
You can show it.
oh yeah.
Crow
But Crow Boy. We do have to say the crows. What was their early morning call? Coffee.
No.
Coffee. Anyway, very simple pictures, but and I love it because Crow Boy is very he imitates the sounds of crows, and people underestimate him, but then they realize that he is a lot smarter than they think, and
Actually, a very good skill to have.
It's hard to explain. It's just it's kind of, he was an outsider, but
Very, like,
the
sketchy drawing.
The teacher took an interest in him, and he realized he was kind of, maybe today you might say special needs. I don't know, but he was just
He could be neurodivergent.
yes. But he did sing the voices of crows. This is another bizarre. They had many of these. Uncle Wiggily.
Uncle Wiggily.
We had puzzles, and the reason, of course,
I don't remember this.
Oh God, you're kidding!
No.
I love these because I love doing the voices, and the toad was afraid he didn't know how to hop, and so I'm afraid I'll come down so hard I'll bite my tongue right off. Nonsense, said Uncle Wiggily. The bunny found some moss that was even greener and thicker, as fluffy as a poodle dog's back, but still Hoppy was afraid to jump. You don't remember that?
No, I don't think so.
And then the butterfly, and she's like, "Oh, you helped me, Uncle Wiggly."
Not
Anyway,
even the pictures look familiar to me.
God, maybe I was.
Maybe
Maybe
it
it was
wasn't
a
me.
dream. I don't know. This one,
No, everybody knows this
controversial.
one.
Some people have said, have you heard,
No.
that they think it's awful because this boy is so selfish. He constantly is taking
Yeah.
until he cuts the tree down.
Yeah, the tree just...
And
he just uses and uses it. The tree is your mother.
I've seen a version where they change it. Yeah, the boy actually sits down at the end. Well, he's an old man then, and sits
Does
on
he
the
regret
stump.
his actions?
I don't know, but I do like the new version. It's kind of like about boundaries, where he's like, yes, I can do this, but not this. But I still think it's a great book. So, oh, Richard Scarry. Yes, I rediscovered him when you were little, and I love it because they're so busy. There's so many pictures. Busy town.
There's just so much going on.
Remember we had videos?
It's like the maximalism of children's books.
And there's Pig Will and Pig Won't. And
is this the one where they're like all driving up a tree?
I don't remember that.
There's like a old tree. Because there was a TV show.
Yeah. There was one about, well, there's Please and Thank You. There was one about the guy who was like he kept trying to fix things around the house and everything kept going wrong. I don't know. And then, well, what's the Lowly Worm? Yeah, Lowly Worm. Love
I remember
those.
this one very clearly.
Tiki Tiki Tembo. Noso Rambo, Cherry Barducci, Perry Pembo.
Yes.
And
What does he do?
another classic tale, the little boy falls into the well.
Oh yeah.
And it said supposedly it's why they give children short names so
Mhm.
that you don't have to say that long name.
Right, because you'll die if somebody's trying to say that something happened to you, but your name's too long.
And it's, of course, well, this version's 1968, but whatever. So I think a lot of people know that one. Best book of 1969, it says. Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap.
A Tale of a Peddler, Some Monkeys, and Their Monkey Business.
I think I read this when I was a kid. Because the pictures, when I saw them, I'm like,
Look
oh.
how cheeky they are. They steal all his caps.
But I mean, they're 50 cents, so that's pretty cheap.
Well, not back then.
No, I know.
In today's money.
And then another old one that I love to read to them, the story of Ping.
Whoa.
He's
Whoa, the last duck to cross the bridge gets a spank.
I don't know. You have to admit, we had a lot of multicultural books in the house.
Yeah.
And, Ping was just kind of naughty. But he did survive. He did get spanked, though.
He did get spanked.
Because he was the last one.
That's your lesson.
Yes. Oh, I love Cynthia
Mr.
Ryland.
Putty
She did a
and Tabby
series
picked the
about Mr. Putter and Tabby, which, I don't know if you remember. Remember Mr. Putter's kind of old and creaky?
Yeah.
And so is the cat, which is okay. And he just keeps him company. And let's see. Oh, Mrs. Teaberry is his friend. But it's very sweet, a man and his cat kind of thing.
We love that. We love a cat dad.
And the same author, the Henry and Mudge
Yeah, I was
books,
just going to say Henry and Mudge.
with the giant dog.
Nice.
Look. Oh, wait, what's the name of that cat? It's
Mudge.
No, he says he looks like smashed prunes.
Yeah, smashed prunes. The cat looks like smashed prunes. That is such a great image.
Yeah, they're fun little, and these are books that kids can read by themselves. It says here, I don't know what it said about what age, but they're like early readers. Now, I remember these as a kid, and of course I read them to my children. P.D. Eastman, which one is this? Oh, Are You My Mother?
Is this the one
This is in English and Spanish.
Snort?
Yes. ¿Dónde estoy? Gritaba el pajarito. Quiero irme a mi casa. Quiero a mi mamá.
That's kind of cool. They put them side by side.
Yeah, you are not my mother. You are a snort.
Yeah, I still didn't learn Spanish.
Yeah, I know. And then another one. Oh, this I remember as a kid. Oh my God.
I didn't show it.
Sorry. You talked about a tree.
Is this it?
The tree.
They're going up a
to
tree.
the tree.
What did I say?
They're having a dog party in the tree.
Yeah, it's like very, very manic energy coming off these dogs.
Yes, hold on. Here it is. Now the cars stop. Now all the dogs get out. And look where they're going. Up they go to the top of the tree.
Look at that image.
Yeah, see, I remembered it too.
And this is, I'm a cat person.
And then finally, the dog. Do you like my new hat? I do. I like that party hat.
Whoa.
Anyway, that one just really stuck with me, as did The Best Nest. Oh, I love this one. I like birds and their nests. And he keeps trying to build a nest. And I love my house, I love my nest. In all the world, this nest is best.
He's trying.
Now, I did have a lot of Dr. Seuss books that I read as a kid, and to them, my most favorite being...
What?
Fox in Socks.
Oh.
Bim Ban's Big Boot. Oh, I can't remember.
Until you're about to do a
Fox in Socks and oh, geez. I know I can do it. It's a tongue twister. I love it. I wish I had it with me.
Do it later.
Berenstain Bears. I love these, and I read a lot of them to you guys. This was my favorite, The Bear's Vacation. There was ones about being scared, going to the dentist, lying, all sorts of, moral tales.
Scandalous.
But, I mean, this father is an absolute idiot. He's constantly stepping on sharp
Homer
shells.
Simpson's bears.
Yeah, he is.
These do not look like bears. They're very upsetting to me.
Well,
they just are so skinny. Look, what is this, Titanic?
Yeah, he's out in the boat.
Hi. I love a reference. It's absolutely a reference.
Now, I did have a lot of books for you guys that were collections because you get a lot in one book. And, for example, this one, which there were things that I had read.
I remember this.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, I think I do.
No, here. Okay, Goodnight Moon. I do remember that as a child. Once again, the pictures. How could you not remember those pictures?
Yeah.
Great Green Room. And then they also have, Curious George, which I wasn't a huge fan. But, The Man in the Yellow Hat and all that weirdness. But I do remember them. I do remember, as when I was a kid, Where the Wild Things Are. Very disturbing to me.
Really?
I don't know. There was something scary about it.
Well, it is kind of scary because they're like monsters.
I know. And he was naughty. Babar I did like. I liked Babar. And I read a lot of you. And Babar and Celeste and all that. It's French. Ooh, au revoir, it says. And there's the Bernstein Bears.
Bears and the spooky old tree.
What's this one? Oh, that's just the Sneetches. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good comprehensive collection.
Yeah, I like these because you get all these different styles, different illustrations. Do you remember Ferdinand? I love Ferdinand.
Of course.
Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. There's a lot of good ones in here. But those were ones that I remember from being a kid. Now, very important. The first book my children ever read on their own, as I recall, my older daughter, Nady, read Inside, Outside, Upside Down, which is a bright and early book for beginning readers. And
But that's the Bernstein Bears again.
Yes. And I mean, it even has her name played in it. But it's simple. Going inside a box. But she was able to actually read this.
And mine is more exciting.
Yeah.
Because mine's the best. And I so remember, I don't know if you know how you fabricate memories. Well, it says it's from Haslam's.
Oh, there.
Used
I bought it.
$125.
Yeah, I bought it there.
But I might have made up this memory, but I seem to remember being in our old house and going into the dining room and reading it to everyone. I have done this.
Yes.
I have done this. Let me just.
Can you
Let me show off my. Mine is the best. It is not. Mine is. And it's just, they're just fighting about their ridiculous
cool floats.
balloons until they're squeezing. But classic little boys, mine is bigger. It is not. Mine is. Mine can stand up. At this point, the balloons are becoming shriveled, sad little worms. This is really a great lesson. They're really shriveled. And then there's a kid in the background falling and dying off the rail because they're fighting and they don't know. Yours is dead too. It's all your fault. And then lady passes by with a whole bunch of, this kid's still severely in need of aid as he drowns. And now they're fighting about their pants and hat. And now, this is a horrible book, actually. They're teaming together to say that they hate this girl because she has a balloon still.
Yeah.
She thinks she's smart. I hate her. And then ours was the best. This kid has finished drowning. He's back. He's up here. He's okay now, and he's still got his balloon. And they love each other because they bonded over their mutual hatred of a woman.
Oh my God.
All right, that was my first book.
Well, what can you say? And it was written in 1973.
Oh, 1973. So, I was reading it over 20 years after it was written. All right, so can I tell mine?
Yes, now you can interject with your favorite gorgeous.
Well, these are just the ones that I had on my shelves that I went, oh, my mom definitely read that with me. The Taily Po, a ghost story.
Terrifying.
It's I don't know why I like this. Maybe I don't. It really scares me a lot. And what even was the plot?
It's like a. I think it's supposed to be in New Orleans, or no, not New Orleans, the swamps.
An old man lived by himself in the deep, big woods. His cabin had only one room, and that room was his parlor, his bedroom, his dining room, and his kitchen too. Where's the Taily Po?
Well, it's this creature.
Oh, he goes and cuts off the tail of this animal, and then the animal comes back.
It wants its tail
over
back.
and over again. Taily Po, Taily Po.
I want my Taily Po.
Oh my God! And look, horrifying.
It's a ghost story. It says right on the cover.
But I don't think it's. That's not appropriate. It's too scary.
Turn it in.
I haven't got your Taily Po. Yes, you have. And it jumped on top of that man and scratched everything to pieces. Now there's nothing left of the old man's cabin in the deep, big woods except the chimney. But folks who live in the valley say that when the moon shines and the wind blows, you can hear a voice say, Taily Po, Taily Po. Now I've got my Taily Po.
I'm trying to see what year that was.
Really, really scary stuff.
I think it's some sort of folk tale reimagined or something, but it says 77.
See, I was in the 90s reading all these 70s books, I
Yeah,
guess.
well.
But then I put this in here because there's a lot of books that I forced her to read, and this was one of the Battle of the Books ones, and this was 3rd grade, and it was it was such a formative time. Everybody in 3rd grade read this book. Like, no
Seems
joke.
young.
We were obsessed with it. No.
Huh.
No.
What about the movie?
And
that came out later?
when the movie came up. Yeah, it says 10
out.
and up, so we were around 9, 10.
Mm-hmm.
The movie came out that year.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I don't know
why. No, yes, it was 3rd grade. I remember because the movie came out, everybody loved it, and then we got in trouble because we were playing the computer game, and it like the volume went off during a test, and she said that's it, no more computers.
Fantastic movie. Once Upon a Time.
There was a magical place where it never rained. The end.
The end.
But anyway, yeah, the book is just fantastic, and I remember I read it in one day, which was like crazy for me. And then The Giver we had to read in school.
Oh, fantastic!
And yeah, I just remember you really liked this one.
They asked the parents to read it too, which I loved it.
Yeah, and there's actually a series. There's 4. Yeah, band. There's 4 books, and they're all good.
Mm-hmm.
My American Girl doll. If you want to talk American Girl dolls, they're having like a resurgence right now because of the memes. But my personal one that I owned was Josefina, and I just love her so much.
I think they're fantastic. I love the idea of because I hated history as a kid because it was always about wars and politics. This was about people.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them.
Yeah,
we had the
cookbook,
cool the doll. There were all sorts of things. There was even a thing you could do a play.
I had all these little crafts.
Yeah,
like you could send away for these things. Like I beaded a necklace. It was very cool. Okay, this is another one, and this is the all-time scariest book I've ever read, more than Taily Po. This is
the board book,
Little Fur Family, and it is the illustrations for me that are so deeply disturbing.
They're supposed to be adorable.
There was a little fur family warm as toast, smaller than most, in little fur coats, and they lived in a warm wooden tree. So they are furry, but they wear fur too. Whose fur are they wearing? Okay, whose fur? Who did they kill? And not just the faces on these things, the soulless eyes. The soulless eyes of these creatures. And sometimes I would actually have to like hide this book from myself because it disturbed me so much.
Jeez.
I don't even remember the story.
Oh, but it's sweet at the end. They say goodnight.
Look at this like demon carrying the child up the stairs.
Oh, he's saying goodnight.
No, it's great. They all love each other and they wear somebody else's fur. Look at his open mouth.
And wait, it wasn't the greatest song. I don't know what the tune is, but sleep, sleep, our little fur child, out of the windiness, out of the wild, sleep warm in your fur all night long, in your little fur family. This is a song.
This is a song, just so you know.
I mean,
that's
not the greatest composition, but...
I know, this is great because this is a children's book, but we never read it. Like, I owned the whole
like last
box
year.
set as a child, and I've lost it. I never read them until last year, and now she's actually reading the whole series. But I think that's great that we've bonded over that
series on TV.
Oh yeah, Anne with an E. I mean, I talked about this in this very lengthy video.
Fantastic.
I love that show.
Wonderful.
And then we already talked about Little House on the Prairie, but I just wanted to show my entire.
Did you read them?
collection.
Did you read them yourself, or did I read them to you?
You read them to me.
Oh, okay.
See,
you were younger.
Like when growing up, she read me all these things out loud, and now my brain can't listen to like audiobooks. I can't focus, so I don't know how I did it back then. Attention span. It's ruined by the phone. Oh, last one. The Rainbow Goblins.
This is odd. I bought this as a teen. I think I was 18, 19. I saw it in the
I
bookstore.
inherited these old books.
And the illustrations talk about psychedelic.
They are terrifying, but beautiful. I mean, whoa. This is like out of a sci-fi movie. Look at the color and the depth to it.
Yeah, they're on the cover, like making the rainbow.
So yeah, is that their job to make the rainbow?
Yeah, basically, it's a very simple story, but there's little goblins.
But they look treacherous. I mean,
oh yeah, they dream about the colors coming out of their bellies or something.
Yeah, it's really like definitely like hallucinogenic sort of thing happening. Oh, they're just so pretty. I'm trying to find one that's like, oh, that sticks with me from childhood, where this dude's like melting in colors.
No.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah, but then look at the end with the beautiful birds and butterflies. And finally, the rainbow.
Is that it?
Yes.
They made the rainbow.
Well, you know what it reminds me of?
Powers.
The end papers show that.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, we would take crayons and melt them onto Coke bottles.
That's very trippy.
Very trippy.
And we, in my day and age, would have our space makers, the, like hard shell pencil case, and it said the Space Maker thing on the top, and it was like indented. So we would color that with markers, and then pour glue into it, and we'd let it dry overnight in our little desk. And we'd come back to school in the morning and peel that strip off, and we'd have a little glue bookmark. We got in so much trouble, but we kept doing it.
I just noticed it was actually a gift from my, at the time, boyfriend, who became my husband and now ex-husband, and it was when I was 20.
Oh, wow.
And he was saying, take you back to an earlier time, because it is kind of childish, but it's just the art. I loved it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, geez.
$9.95. That's a lot of books.
That was a lot. Now we have like 20 seconds left, so anything you want to say?
I'm still a voracious reader. She picks on me because I don't like classics.
Yeah, but
she says I read chick lit, but that's not fair.
Read things
sometimes
that I tell her to, which is cool.
Sometimes I do.
And it's been a big bonding experience throughout our lives to go to bookstores together every time we travel.
A bookstore.
So thank you, Mother, for talking to me. I love you, and happy Mother's Day. And thanks for watching, everyone. Till next time.
Till next time.